Okay, greetings everyone, and thank you for listening in or will be listening once you come across this episode. Yes, this is Nige Sabarakeka here, and Real Radio Talk live on the air. Just want to cover some important topics that are not being discussed, and I feel like they should be. Nevertheless, I will be showing some articles that I found that I think is very informational and giving us the important information that we need to know regarding pedophilia, um, child molestation, rapes, all type of perverted, predatory pedophilia acts that are being, you know, constantly charged at our young sons and our young daughters. Can you hear me, David?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. So yeah, I was just air talking to the perceived listeners about what this little preview update is going to be about. Tomorrow is a real conversation regarding molestation, pedophilia, and rapists. But I just wanted to still touch on it a little bit today and also tomorrow. But today I just wanted to mention certain aspects of it because you have your sexual assault, you have your sexual abuse, you have your sexual assault and abuse towards special needs students, intellectual disabled is the new name for them, or in the workplace, or with your husband, someone in your immediate family from ages 3 years old on up or even younger. So it's just like a broad situation here that should be spoken about, like how we can get the weather report every evening. We should be able to crack down and get reports on these type of acts frequently every day, but we're not. And from my research, I see that it's really pushed under the rug, and that's done on purpose. But ones that realize that there's stuff under the rug are lifting the rugs up now and starting to clean up. But we just need more of the cleaning up. And I think having personal experiences or even being involved with a personal experience, it kind of opens your eyes up to the world a little different than someone just you're being a listener and someone's telling you a story about it. It's different than you're actually witnessing it and experiencing it. So, yeah, I wanted to ask you, how does this screen look? Do you see a live on air symbol, or can you actually see me and you?
I can see you.
Okay. All right. So I see how the screen is. All right. It's just showing me something different on my side. But anyway, yeah. So I have these articles that I found. I don't know if you want to say something first before I start pulling the articles up.
No, I'm good.
Oh, you want to see the articles too? Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so the first one I found, I'll just go in the order as I found them and dealing with America in general, which could be women of all races, and then narrow it down to the African or Black woman in America. So here, just basically speaking, let me make this a little bigger. Let's see. All right, now I need to share my screen, right? Let me see. How do we share the screen? Click share. Okay, Chrome. Can you see that?
No,
Hmm. Let me see why not. Okay, you don't see a shared screen
I do,
on your
but
screen?
I got something blocking it. The
Is it like
live
a,
on air
is it
monitor.
an E? Oh, okay. All right, so I need to take the live on air. Well, that's what's happening here. So let me see. See, this is catching me off guard again. This is the stuff I can't deal with when I'm dealing with StreamYard.
I know.
Here I am trying to take stuff off. Let me see if I go into general, shift video. All right, how about now? It's still there? Okay, yeah, that's blocking. I understand now. And I am trying to deal with that. And I have no clue where I went. Was it banners? I think it's banners. Or it's this right here, the overlay. Okay, what about now? Is it still there?
It's still there.
Hmm. Let me refresh it. We might get disconnected, but I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay, add to stream.
It's gone now.
Okay, good. I had to refresh it. So yeah, now I could probably try and share the screen. I'm going to share from Chrome. Pull up that document. Okay, can you see my screen now? You see me scrolling up?
No, I don't see you scrolling up. I see a black screen with the buffering circle.
How about now?
Well, the
Can you
buffering,
see now?
I see it now.
Can you see the words?
Yes.
Or they need to be a little bigger?
Yeah, I can't read them. Not without my magnifying glass. I could tell you in your email.
All right, let me try and make them bigger. How about now?
No, still the same.
It's still too small?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just want to make sure it's coming on the screen a little bigger. Because you're on your telephone, so
Yeah.
I already know it's not going to get it so big. Okay, that's it. So, in the meantime, what you think about sexual harassment on a disabled student? Whether she's intellectual disabled, whether she's physically disabled, just falls under the special needs disabled category. She falls under those laws, Title IX, and rules and regulations. When someone is violated of those acts, she falls under the Disability Sexual Harassment Act, or he would
I
fall
think
under
it's
it.
very harmful. I mean, no matter how old the person is, if they're not mentally capable of understanding what's going on, that's very harmful. I worked as a paraprofessional for a couple years, and there were I worked with young kids. So anyway, there were several females in the class, and they were, I guess, an equivalency of, I guess, the fourth grade mentally, but physically
Mm-hmm.
they were like in the sixth grade. It wasn't that bad, but they had the mental degradation. So anyway, a few years after leaving the school and a few years after leaving the state, on Facebook, one of the girls contacted me, and she had had two children by some boy, and she was having a rough time because it was hard for her to find a job, because she was still mentally behind. So
Yeah.
apparently this boy was her boyfriend, and I'm not sure if he was mentally had any type of mental capacity, but she was, raising the children by herself. So some of these people take advantage of these girls. I don't care if you swoon them, sweep them off their feet. I mean, technically they're still a child too. So
Mm-hmm.
when babies having babies and then you leave them, I mean your intention was, nefarious to start with.
Right. Well, according to these statistics, every 68 seconds, an American is sexually assaulted, and every 9 minutes, that victim is a child. Meanwhile, only 25 out of every 1,000 perpetrators will end up in prison. So
Yeah.
25 out of 1,000, only 25 ends up in prison. Child Protective Services agencies substantiated, or in 2016, Child Protective Services agencies substantiated or found strong evidence to indicate that 57,329 children were victims of sexual abuse. 1 in 9 girls and 1 in 53 boys under the age of 18 experienced sexual abuse or assault at the hands of an adult. 82% of all victims under 18 are female. How does this screen look? Does it look all no? David,
Huh?
how does the screen look? It looks full or what?
It looks white. It's readable. I mean, with my bad eyes, I just can't see too much of it.
Oh,
I
okay.
need my magnifying
So
glass.
females ages 16, okay. Females ages 16 to 19 are 4 times more likely than the general population to be victims of rape, attempted rape, or sexual assault. The effects of child sexual abuse can be long lasting and affect the victim's mental health. Victims are more likely than non victims to experience the following mental health challenges: about 4 times more likely to develop symptoms of drug abuse, about 4 times more likely to experience PTSD as adults, about 3 times more likely to experience a major depressive episode as adults.
Wow.
And out of the sexual abuse cases reported, TPS, in 2013, 47,000 men and 5,000 women. What's the word? I think that is. I'm trying to slide the text over. Were alleged the perpetrators. Okay, so 88% of the sexual abuse claims that CPS substantiates or finds supportive evidence. You got 19% in females, 3% is unknown, 9% in men. Well, we can hear you flushing the toilet. Remember, we live streaming. Well, just to let you know, David, we live streaming so we can hear you when you flush the toilet. Can you hear me? And David,
But who?
I don't think you I don't think you understand that we are live streaming so we can hear everything going on in your background from the bathroom to out the bathroom.
Really? I'm sorry.
And I'm just making you be aware because I don't know if you want people to be all up in your business like that, but you know, you just hear you in the background. Just be mindful of that. So yes, of course, I found this other collection of information, and their website is called ujima.com, and they deal with the third principle of Kwanzaa, collective work and responsibility, meaning to build and maintain our community and make our sisters and brothers' problems our problems and solve them together. Ujima recognizes and respects collective work, struggle, and progress. So that's the third Kwanzaa principle, Ujima, collective work and responsibility. And this organization have came up with a beautiful outreach services, an article. Their name is the National Center on Violence Against Women in the Black Community. It's a 202 area code, so it seems like Washington, D.C. would be their headquarters, and it's Black Women and Sexual Assault. For every Black woman who reports rape, at least 15 Black women do not report rape. Sadly, this statistic remains relevant today given the impact of historical trauma, racism, and oppression. Often, Black women will tell no one about the abuse. 1 in 4 Black girls will be sexually abused before the age of 18. According to the United States Department of Justice, 1 in 5 Black women, or 65% of Black women, experience some form of contact sexual violence during their lifetime. 40 to 60% of Black women report being subjected to or coercive sexual contact by age 18. In the United States, 38%, yes, of Black women experience sexual violence other than rape during their lifetime. 17% of Black women experience sexual violence other than rape by an intimate partner during their lifetime. African American girls also, African American girls and women 12 years and older experience higher rates of rape and sexual assault than white, Asian, and Latina girls and women from 2005 to 2010. They ran this study, and that was the total numbers that they came up with. Some few years back, but I can go back. So 2010, 2021, and the numbers are still rising. Among students, 11% of Black girls in the national high school sample reported having been raped. So they just did a high school sample in 2012, it was, and 11% of the girls said that they've been raped. 40% of confined sex trafficking survivors in the United States are Black. So 40% of those sex trafficking survivors, or just still in the sex trafficking game, 40% of them are Black. National Center on Violence Against Women in the Black Community. Many cultural considerations can hinder healing for Black women survivors. The burdensome expectation of strong Black womanhood, the power of the Black church, the desire to shield Black women, or no, the desire to shield Black men, and the lack of self care examples are all real dynamics Black women survivors endure. 30% of Black women with documented histories of childhood sexual abuse were sexually assaulted in adulthood. Because of African Americans' unique history of racist and sexist victimization, the Black community has an even harder time than others dealing with rape. This prevents survivors from getting help and our community from addressing the issue effectively. All of that is 100% the issue here, the issue and problem, the healing. That's why I came drawn to this particular organization, this particular article, because the cultural considerations can hinder healing for Black women survivors. And because we come from a racist, sexist victimization society here in America, this is why these rapes are not being reported unless they're being asked in a controlled environment that they feel safe to talk about. You know, this is why at a young age we have this one out of four black girls will be sexually abused before the age of 18. That's sickening. That's sad. 35% of black women experience some form of contact sexual violence during their lifetime. We shouldn't be experiencing those things in no lifetime. Just looking at the numbers, and look at this among students, 11% of black girls in a national high school sample reported having been raped. And I just had a situation with a high school student December 3rd at the supermarket called Publix when she was doing a work study. And one of the Publix employee made her feel uncomfortable because he was asking her for her number. And he's a full grown man, married with children, David. He knows, she's special need. He knows she's intellectual disability. He knows this. He knows she comes under a program for disabled students. And the mere fact that you're asking her for her number, it just proves one of the researchers that I found saying that the disabled students are they are more open to be violated with sexual assault or sexual harassment because of their condition. They're easy to take advantage of. So, yes, a normal big grown man will see nothing wrong with her and will take advantage of her just because of her mental capacity. Just because of her mental capacity. These are the perverts that needs to be scratched out. These are the pedophiles and the rapists and the child molesters that needs to be scratched out. That's them. You understand? African American girls and women 12 years old and older experience higher rates of rape and sexual assault than white, Asian, and Latina girls and Latina women. That's not fair. It shouldn't happen on the no races, you know, under no races watch, so to speak. However, how come when it comes to the black woman, she is being raped more still, even during slavery up to now, she's still being raped more, according to statistics, not just me sitting here saying it, you know. So that's just one of the second previews that I wanted to talk about because I think a lot of people don't see how it really hits the black community. It really hits home, how it hits our schools and how our schools are not standing up for them. Because I felt like in the situation I experienced with the student coming to me telling me she didn't feel comfortable working with this public employee because he keeps asking her for her number and she doesn't want to work with him anymore. You know, I understand her whole stance, her whole standpoint, from a mother's point of view, a grandmother's point of view, a big sister, auntie point of view. I came like with all those feminine point of views for her. So that's who I'm standing up for. I'm standing up for the student that suffers with a disability and has been sexually harassed. You know, I stand up for those students. And this particular student, December 3rd, that's who I represent. I don't represent the school she came from, the project that she was under. I don't represent any of that. I'm representing exactly what it is the student has an issue. That's what I'm representing. So I'm trying to wait for my internet to load up. Something's going on with this internet all the time when it comes to StreamYard. So I can pull up some more information concerning civil right laws to protect students with disabilities during sexual harassment and investigation. Yeah, just like briefly stream on that. I don't know what happened to David. It looks like he got blocked out. So let me stop the screen and then I'll reshare again. I'll come back and share it again. All right, civil rights laws protect students with disabilities during sexual harassment investigations. Title IX protects all students. Title IX requires schools that receive federal funds to investigate any student report of sexual harassment to find out if the harassment has created a hostile environment. A hostile environment exists when sexual harassment has made it harder for the harassment victim to learn or stay in school. Title IX protects students with disability. Title IX's requirements of an equitable response means that school must give the same rights to the complainants and responders 16, including those with disabilities. This includes giving all parties equal notice of the proceeding, ensuring equal rights to present evidence and call witnesses, and considering the disabilities of both complainants and respondents in responding to sexual harassment. Title IX is consistent with disability civil rights laws. Okay, so there is a civil rights law for disability students. This Title IX does not require schools to take any action inconsistent with laws that protect students with disabilities, including Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, Section 504, the Americans with Disability Act, ADA, and the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA. All right, all students with disabilities in a school disciplinary proceeding have a right to reasonable accommodation under Section 504 and ADA. Okay. Complaints with disability and sexual harassment investigation have a right to request reasonable disability accommodations, this including the opportunity to answer questions in writing or through a neutral school employee instead of being subjected to live cross-examination by the respondent or the respondent's advisor if their disability makes it difficult to answer questions in this live cross-examination format. All right, respondents and disabilities, yes, respondents in sexual harassment investigation are likewise entitled to reasonable disability accommodations that also protect complainants' rights. If a respondent is found responsible for sexual harassment, the respondent has a right to proportionate discipline. For example, K through 12 respondents with disabilities are entitled to a manifestation determination under the IDA to determine whether the disciplinary violation was a manifestation of their disability before they can receive a change in placement, i.e., a transfer, suspension, or other removal, or more than 10 consecutive school days, 17 school days. So that's just basically saying, what could happen to the respondent if they found responsible, all right, and things like that. So I was reading all of that just to give everyone an idea, students, parents, friends of families, husbands and wives, sister and brethren, homegirl and homeboy. You know that there are laws that protect special needs, disability, students, especially that's in school experiencing that or on a work training outside of school experiencing that there are civil laws for them that protect them, and um, there are lawyers that are familiar with these different type of laws when these laws are being broken and how to handle it. All right, let's see what else I have here. Telling me my internet is not right. Yeah, this time of the year, the internet will be messing up. We got these solstices and full moons going on, eclipse coming on all this month. So technology is definitely related to that, the static and technology. All right, let me call David, see what happened to David before we officially log off. I just wanted to go through that little quick preview for what tomorrow's show is going to be. I'm going to really get in deep detail tomorrow. I'm going to show some videos of women who have personally themselves experienced some type of sexual abuse, sexual harassment, sexual assault, and some more articles like this. Yeah, David, I don't know what happened, but it looks like you got dropped out of the stream. I was trying to look for you. Go ahead. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was trying to look and see if you was coming back in, but I didn't see it. So, but anyway, it sounds like you're driving, right? I said it sounds like you're driving, so I'm going to let you go. I said I know you're driving, so I'm gonna let you go. All right, bless up. Yeah, that would have been a bad connection. I was already hearing that zooming noise in the background. So tomorrow we'll talk more about sexual harassment, sexual assault, sexual abuse, um, especially when girls are 12 and under that had to experience those violations. Especially from a loved one that they trust. So we need to be a voice for them who think that there's no resources to reach out to think that no one is there to offer healing or have compassion to their situation. I'm going to be that voice for them. Because as a yogi would say, communicate sacredness, build it, share it, and spread it. So we're going to have some sacredness of our communication. We're talking about isn't sacred, but it's very, sacred in a sense to where I would say it shouldn't happen. You know, it's more gruesome, so to speak. This is a gruesome topic to talk about. So we want to bring sacred communication on a gruesome topic to help stop this sexual harassment, sexual assault, sexual abuse towards our young boys and girls. Our sons and our daughters are reaching out to us, screaming out for help, and we're not seeing the signs, or we're seeing it and we're ignoring it. We're allowing our partners to blind us and those different things. So I pulled this article up from eparent.com, and this was 2 years ago. And I like the information, so that was really one reason why I made sure I used this document in their website, because their website is so on point, and it speaks to the different levels of it and how to deal with it and how to handle it and resources to go to, which I'll talk about that tomorrow. So, yeah, just make sure you keep your children safe, your grandchildren safe, any child that's in your care, whether it's permanent, temporarily, whether it's your child or not, because you have these grown men and you also have grown women that are twisted in their head, and they see our little ones as someone that they can take their advantage on to, because maybe they were hurt as well. So we got the hurt people hurting people, and they're destroying our young sons and daughters, alternating their sexuality, you know, messing their minds up, breaking their spirit, fragmenting their soul to where they, turned off from the opposite sex because of that. And being turned off from the opposite sex urges them to, you know, want to be gay, because they were violated in their pre-pubic years, so we don't want to congratulate that. We don't want to feed into that. We want to cut it down day by day, little by little, as the big numbers that we see of ones that's been already violated. We're gonna little by little, day by day, bring those numbers down. The numbers can't go up; they either stay the same or they're gonna go down. And we're trying to bring those numbers down, so nobody's child could feel violated. No one could grow up in their adulthood and say, I can't, I was never able to do this or be this person in my life because these things happened to me, and it crushed my self esteem. It made me feel like nothing. hmm So that's my word sound on that. That's me speaking from my heart right now. My heart's reaching out to all those sons and daughters who's been violated, and that's such a gruesome way like that. And I'm glad that there's organizations out there that I can share the screen with to show, the world that these people exist. These people are real, and they're right in our neighborhoods. Sometimes they're right in our own house, right in our household, right there in the household. So I'm gonna leave it here, brothers and sisters, and all my continuing listeners. I'm gonna leave it here now, and tomorrow we will pick up on a full live stream. We'll have David back on again, and we'll also have Wissia Ma'at Peru from St. Lucia, speaking from his point of view out of the Caribbean. And yeah, we're just gonna get this thing going, being that sacred communicator. Yeah, build it, share it, and spread it. So that's what I'm going to do. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. It's noon time, almost 11:50, 10 minutes to noon. Enjoy your noon and keep it positive. Make sure you tap into the winter solstice energy that's still flaring around, still lingering around, and get yourself ready for 2022. Keep yourself aligned and balanced. Stay free from negative thoughts, negative peoples, places, and things. Always try and keep your head up. Fear no evil. Protect what you know is right, and keep striving. Keep striving in the love of Munaki. Keep striving in the love of Serpent. Keep striving in the love of Jaguar and Puma. Keep striving in the love of Hummingbird. Keep striving in the love of Condor and Eagle. Keep striving in the love of Huasca Inca. Keep striving in the love of Quetzalcoatl. Keep striving in the love of Pachacuti, the luminous ones, the ancient ones, ancient grandmothers and ancient grandfathers, the ancestors, Ancient wisdom, ancient memories. Yes. And give thanks, peace, love, and more life to everyone. And thank you for your time and thank you for your attention. Thank you.